Good morning. I'm glad to see you. It's still a little dark out. I know it's I'm looking forward to the time change, so it'll be light again at 6:45 in the morning. But we'll get through this. Looking at it now, I wish I had brought in some more lights. Anyway, welcome to Call to Adventure. I'm Heather Martinson, the founder of Celebration Education, where we provide adventure, which inspires creativity and leads to possibility. So I'm going to share with you some of the adventures that we're doing this week, then some of the future things that's coming up, and some things you can do at home to expand on what we're doing. And I'm going to share with you some of the philosophy of what we do and some challenge to you of what you can do yourself to do better in your own schoolwork at home. So this week, our topic is riddles of nature. Leonardo da Vinci liked to write. First of all, he loved to study nature. He was fascinated by it, and he was always looking into ways that he could bring, that he can learn from it. He would just roam the countryside and observe and examine things. So he loved nature. And I called this week's topic Riddles of Nature because he liked to write what he called prophecies. And there are these foreboding type of riddles that he would write, such as serpents will fly up into the air and fight with birds. And what it is a bird that would pick up a snake and fly off to eat it. So, but he would make it sound like something big and scary. Anyway, so this week in Leonardo's workshop, the students made germination stencils. They made these little images of how a seed germinates. Then they learned some of Leonardo's prophecies and tried to decode what he was describing. There were many different ones that he talked about, and we identified what natural thing he was prophesying about. Then the students worked in groups to create conservation posters. And then we talked about the metamorphosis of a ladybug, and then each of them got to write their own foreboding prophecy that is describing the metamorphosis of a ladybug in some scary or spooky way. Then we did for our math activity, because Leonardo believed that all things in nature are governed by mathematical rule. So we looked at a sketch of his that showed how the structure of tree limbs, and then we talked about doubling, and then we played a doubling game. Then we talked about the buffalo grass versus the saguaro cactus, about how the buffalo grass is an invasive species that's threatening the saguaro cactus in some areas. And that was also another doubling exercise, and the students charted the growth of the buffalo grass versus the loss of the saguaro cactus. Then we talked about greenhouses, and each of the students got to make their own greenhouse. And then we finished up the day by discussing photosynthesis, and the students got to do a relay race where they experienced photosynthesis, putting what goes into the plant and what comes out of the plant, running back and forth to make it all happen. This week, tomorrow, we have our field trip, which is a visit to the Santa Ana Zoo. Join us for that. I just opened registration for that yesterday. So nobody's registered for it. It's not too late. Just go ahead and sign up right now, and you can join us tomorrow at the Santa Ana Zoo. It's a good little zoo. I really like it. It's inexpensive, yet it's got some really good things in it. You don't have to commit an entire day to it. So come. On Minecraft this week, on Friday, the students are going to identify the various biomes that different animals live in. They're going to label the animals with their scientific classifications, and they're going to go on a nature scavenger hunt to find various things that can be found in nature in real life. We'll actually find them in Minecraft. So, for some ideas of things you can do at home with your children this week, a great idea would be to start a garden. Have your child help you plan the garden. I know it's going into winter, but it's Southern California, right? We can grow stuff year round. So help your child identify what can grow right now, and how you're going to set it up, if you're going to start indoors or out, all of this, that they can help you do the research as well as the work. Take them on a nature walk. I would love to see them do some nature notebooking. If you're not familiar with nature notebooking, you go and you sit in nature and you observe something that fascinates you, and you write about it. You draw pictures of it, maybe even some watercolor, write some poetry about it. Make it just a real special time to enjoy nature. Of course, nature is one of those things that more and more scientists are realizing with the lack of nature in our children, they're missing out on a lot of things. I'm not going to go into all the stuff all the benefits of being in nature, but let's just say that if your children are sitting in front of computer screens all day, they're missing a lot. So anyway, take them out in nature and help them think, relax, observe, write, sketch. It's really a good experience. Also, here's another good activity that your students can do. Help them identify ways in your home that they can help to conserve energy. And perhaps they can make reminder cards for families to turn off lights or turn off the water when you're brushing your teeth, these sorts of things. And that could be their project, and they take ownership of it and probably become the best, most energy-minded person in the home, so that'll be a lot of fun. One more suggestion is have your children, have them notice mathematical patterns in nature. Sometimes it's just shapes. Sometimes it's the like Leonardo observed, a tree trunk starts with 1 and breaks into 2 and then goes into 4 and then from there to 8. Find different ways. Find spiral patterns in shells, all these things. Find mathematical patterns in nature, just like Leonardo did. So, and also, I encourage you to have your children bring back to class the things that they're working on at home. We'd love to see that they're doing things at home, and I think that helps them get more involved in the things they're doing at home when they get to show off what they're doing to their teacher and to their friends. So encourage them to finish things and bring them to class. That would be great. So our upcoming events for this that are coming up, like I said, tomorrow is our Santa Ana Zoo field trip. We also have tomorrow at the Santa Ana Learning Bottega, we have 2 homeschoolers that are coming, 2 veteran homeschoolers are going to be coming in and talking to us. One of them is just real excited about offering some history classes to us in Santa Ana that are starting this Friday. But she is a graduated homeschooler. Her children are grown, and she just would love to chat and share her experiences with you. We also have coming a homeschooler who is also a financial planner, and he has a presentation to show that can help you learn how to save money for college. So both of those are tonight at 7 p.m. at the Santa Ana Learning Bottega. You can look up the address, but it's 2020 East 1st Street, Suite 103 in Santa Ana. So, and I'm really excited about the enrichment classes that are starting up this week. Yesterday in Covina, we had a brand new teacher doing some film class with green screen, some comic books drawing, and also modeling, clay modeling, along with stop motion. So those are some really cool classes. They did start yesterday, but I'm sure he'd be happy to have you join anytime. We can prorate the class for you if you want to join mid-session. That'd be fine. Coming up in this Friday, we have new classes there as well. We have a film, what is it called? Not filmmaking, but film studies class. We're relating to, this is actually a class taught by a guy who is a film critic. And so he's going to be talking about film and the ins and outs of how it affects our lives. He's also doing a Shakespeare class and an literature class. All of them look really good. Those are for teens and older. For the younger students, we have a math in the kitchen class and a gardening class, and of course for the older students, we have cooking and Maker Studio classes as well. And those are all this Friday, the new session starting this Friday. So go online to our enrichment page to find out more about those classes and sign up for the ones you want to do. All right. This Friday also, we're having our official ribbon cutting ceremony for the Santa Ana location. Anyone is welcome to come. If you've been dying to just see what it's like, come on down. It's going to be at noon when we're going to cut the ribbon, and there's going to be refreshments, and you get to take a tour of the place, and it's just going to be fun. So come on out. Got something on my nose. It's kind of bothering me. Sorry about that. Next week is our next Disneyland meetup. I'm going to be posting information about the meetup in our Disney Schooling group on Facebook, so you can watch for that. So for our philosophy or practice for this week, I'm going to talk about projects. Projects in our Journey program come under fireworks, which are things that you can do at home and or in class. We do group projects in class on our Leonardo workshop day, but also you can do projects at home. It gives the children an opportunity to master a subject. Colleges and employees like to see students who are T-shapes, who have both the breadth and the depth in what they know, so that when they come to our classes, they get a lot of information about a little bit of information about a lot of things, basically to introduce them to things. So if there's something that might interest them, then they're going to take that and they're going to go deep with it themselves. And so these projects are the opportunity for the children to go deep, so they have both breadth and depth. So projects can help give a child a sense of accomplishment. These are not things that they're going to do in 5 minutes to 15 minutes in a day. These are projects that are going to be ongoing. That I like to take 6 weeks for a project. 4 weeks, 1 month doesn't seem like quite enough, but longer than 6 weeks, time seems like it's just kind of starts to drag. So I prefer to 6 weeks seems like the golden amount of time. So the things you can do to help your child work on a project is to help them do research, like find websites. You can read to them. You can take dictation from them. A lot of times children have a lot more to say than their physical ability to write or type. So go ahead and take dictation from them. Let them talk. Let them spew it all out, and you write it down or type it in for them to make sure all of the things that they're saying gets written and accounted for. You can help them also filter out valuable information. Sometimes they tend to go off way too far, and we need to kind of help bring them back into focus to what would be valuable for the project. Then encourage them to find more details if you need more details for the project. Help them edit the written report. You might need to show for them to places where they can gather more information, field trips they want to go on, run errands for them to pick up supplies, just basically support them in their project. Help them make it exciting for them. But don't take over. Let the child lead. If you have ideas, suggest it to them. If they don't like it, they don't have to do it. If you want, I've done this before, where I actually go ahead and do my side project because I like it so much and I like my idea so much. I'll go ahead and do my side project. Sometimes the child, once they see it, then they like it also, and they might pull it in or do it themselves in their project. But I have a certain method that I do for projects. I've even put it together into a little booklet that I have our students and teachers use, so that to help stay on task and help give guidance and so you know what to do. But basically there's 4 parts of a project. First part is research, second part is a written report, the third part is a display, and the fourth part is an oral report. And I'm going to talk about each of those. But for each student, the length and complexity of the project will depend on the interests and abilities of each child. So there's no set outcome for a project, but until when the child is satisfied, when the research, the written report, the display, and the oral report are completed according to the child's satisfaction, that's when it's done. You can, like I said, but you can always encourage them to do better. If you know your child can do better, encourage, but don't push, please. So let's see. First thing that they need to do is choose a topic. I like to have them choose a topic that goes along with something that we're studying, with a component that we're in. So like, for example, right now we're talking about nature for this whole entire 6 weeks. So they could do a project, a gardening project would be perfect. They could do something, geology or weather, or any plants or animals. All of these things are good ideas for a project. They probably need to narrow it in like a single animal, not all animals, unless you're doing like animal classification. So there's a lot of options. But then there's going to be a display with each of the projects. The display does not have to be a trifold board. As a matter of fact, trifold boards and PowerPoint presentations we get a lot of. I want to try to see children think beyond those things and try some new things, new ways of making a display. It doesn't have to be a display per se. For example, it can be a blog. It can be a collection. It can be a dramatization. It could be an experiment. We did a report on slime, and the children they made slime as part of their presentation. So it could be a puppet show. It could be a service project. It could be starting a business and telling about what you did to start a business. It could be a website that was created. So think outside the box when you're talking about a display for your project. There are many ways to show what is being learned. When you are doing investigation for your project, it's not just books and it's not just websites. Go ahead and interview people, watch videos, have discussions, visit places, go on field trips, perform experiments, and conduct surveys. We have a group who is right now, yesterday they decided they want to do a project on pranks. So we're going to be their homework to do research is actually to pull pranks on people. We talked about how it needs to be safe and, it's not going to hurt anyone's feelings, but simple and fun pranks that they can pull on family and friends. And so their research is to do pranks, and then we're going to come back and discuss what the reactions that were of people that they play pranks on. Kind of funny. But I want to share with you also, one time when my own children were younger, we did a project on LED lights. And this was before they were everywhere. And it was new and it was exciting. And we were observing, we bought LED lights, we experimented with them. And I remember the first time we saw an LED sign that was down on the ground. It was like, on the ground where we could actually walk up to it and look at it close and see the individual LEDs in the sign. We parked and we got out of the car and we're all looking at the sign together. It was just great. So these are the type of experiences you can have with your children when you just never know where the project might take you. But then you keep a record of your findings, but it doesn't have to be formal. You don't have to like write it all out. You don't have to make a report for each of the things that you find, but you can just print it or copy it, or take a brochure from somewhere, underline passages in a book, take pictures, make sketches, any way you want to collect the information. It's just gathering information. So then week 4, usually in week 3 or 4, we'll write a rough draft. The rough draft starts off, the way I do it to help the children organize the information they've collected is we put together a mind map. So this is from a previous project where we were talking about Einstein, and each of these things represent some information that the students collected on Einstein. And so we just kind of put it all around, and then after we put all the information around, then we organized it, and then we assigned it to priorities. They talked first about Einstein's personal life, then about his science, then just random facts about him. Oh, so it's three parts. And we decided to include warfare under science. Instead of it being its own category, we went ahead and included it under science. So you can move things around and change things easily when you're using the mind map. Then we organize it from there into an outline. So we have it numbered I, and then under that we have the A, B, C, putting it in order to create the written outline from where we write the rough draft. Then week 5 is usually when we write write the rough draft. No, that's when we write the final draft, and also prepare the oral report. The oral report can be the students just going off of the outline and using that outline as a reminder for what they need to say. They can just read their written report. They can use their display and just share what they know about the display, or just they can get up there and just talk about what they did for the report. That's all acceptable. So week 6 is when they present the report. By then, their project is, the display is done, whatever the display is, the written report, the oral report, and you kind of make an event, gather the family around, maybe some neighbors and extended family, invite them in to listen to your child give their reports. If they're in our classes, we can also do it in class on week 6. Their individual reports would be a great time to present, along with when we're doing our group projects and presenting those. So then, of course, celebrate. Make it a big deal. We're excited that this child did this project and that they did well, and they always do well, of course. And we celebrate their accomplishments and give them a big old pat on the back. So your weekly challenge for this week, your call to adventure for this week, is to start a project with your children. I have this booklet. I'm going to put a link to it in the comments section, so you can use the booklet yourself to start a project with your child. Make it, just kind of pace yourself. You don't need to spend a ton of time with it, but take a little bit at a time. What's interesting is when you give yourself the whole 6 weeks, you're going to start noticing things that relate to the project or the topic that you chose for the project. And then you will be able to pull those in. It's stuff you weren't even looking for, but you'll notice it and you're going to pull it in. It's going to be exciting. It's a lot of fun. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to start a project with your children today. And make it count as your history, make it count as your science, make it count as your writing and your math. There's graphing and surveys and that sort of thing you can do even for math. So you can do this. Visit celebrationeducation.com to find out more about what we do and to register for our adventures. That's it for this week's Call to Adventure. Join me again next Tuesday, 6:45 a.m. I'm Heather Martinson at Celebration Education, where we've been learning outside the box since 2006. Have a great Halloween tonight. Be safe and save me some chocolate. All right? Okay, I'll see you next time. Have a super day. Bye.